everybody and welcome to this tutorial for a pincushion. This is a perfect gift for someone that you know that loves their crafts, or it could just be for yourself. Great for a beginner. There's some basic sewing that will give you confidence to go on to do bigger things, but it's also great for seasoned sewists that want to batch make a load of gifts for their crafty friends. So let me tell you what you need to do. So the things that you'll need, your little shopping list, is you'll need some fat quarters. I've got the Craft Cotton Company ones. These are Bumblebee range with sewing notions on, but pick whatever fabric that makes your heart sing. So you'll need two, one for the front and one for the back, but if you want it the same on both sides, then one fat quarter is also fine. You'll need some pins to put into your pincushion for when it's finished, some toy stuffing to fill it with, so it gets nice and plump, and also two buttons because we're going to put a button on the front and a button on the back to puff it out a bit. And you'll need your needle and thread to sew your button on, some scissors and some clips or extra pins to pin your project together when we're sewing it on the sewing machine, and I'm using my beautiful Janome Atelier 9. First things first, get your fat quarters, give them a press and cut out a square that is the size of the pincushion that you want to do. I've done 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and I've just cut one out of the front fabric and one out of the back fabric. Again, like I said, if you want just one fabric choice, cut two squares out. So now you have your two pieces, the front and the back. These are right sides facing. What we need to now do is place one of the pieces right side to right side, one on top of the other, just like so. What we're going to have to do is sew all the way around, but we're going to leave a turning gap. So get your pins or your clips and just leave a little gap for where you need to stop and start, and then do a straight stitch all the way round, back tacking at either end. On my machine I have just chosen the straight stitch, which is stitch number 1, and I'm going to go quite close to the edge, press the presser foot down, put the needle down and start sewing. Back tacking as I go, pivot in the corners, and then remember to leave your gap and back tack. One thing I love about my machine is it's got an automatic thread cutter, which I'm going to press now and it will trim all of my threads. So remove now, and there you have it. What we need to do now is clip the corners with our scissors, so when we turn it out we've got nice pointed edges. Be careful not to actually cut the seam itself, otherwise you'll have a little hole. And you can trim down the rest of the seam allowance, but make sure you don't trim the bit where the opening is, because you'll rely on that later for stitching it up. Now we're going to turn it out to the right side. Just get your finger in there, poke it all out. And if you do have an iron, you can give it a press at this stage. Now it's time to stuff your pincushion with your toy stuffing, and make sure that it's stuffed just right. You don't want too much so that you can't sew it closed, and you don't want too little, otherwise your pins won't go all the way through. You'd be surprised actually how much toy stuffing projects like this use, so always make sure you've got plenty in your craft cupboard. There you have it, it's filled just right. So you should be able to pat it nice and down, and then in this section here where the opening was, you can either take it to your machine and stitch it across, but it will be slightly visible, or you could do a ladder stitch or a whip stitch by hand along the side with your needle and thread. So I've decided to whip stitch mine shut, and I've just come to the end now, so I'm just going to tie a knot in that so it's nice and secure. Do that twice because we don't want the stuffing to pop out. And then trim that off with your scissors close to the edge, and that's the base of your pincushion. So decide what's the front or the back. That's a lovely thing with having two types of fabrics, you can alternate it. And then I've got some little buttons here that say handmade with love, just for that extra little touch. So I'm going to place one in the middle and one in the middle there, and then we're going to sew them both together, and when it's tight it will create a nice puffy effect, so we can then put all our pins in. And now you can add all your pins to your pincushion, just like so. Well done, you've made yourself a pincushion. Wasn't that great? I loved it. And these little projects, you can get super creative. You can quilt them, you can do them circular, you can make a pyramid, you can do all sorts. But a pincushion is a great gift for someone that loves to sew, or for someone that's getting into sewing. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, please subscribe to my channel if you want more crafty tutorials, and visit me and give me a follow on Instagram at Carrie Can Make It. Thank you for watching. Bye.